I played Australian football back home, as kicking is a big element of that game, how I punt now. And there's a program in Australia called Pro Kick Australia that transition players from that sport into American football punting, college punting. So I decided to join that program. I trained with them for a year and then came over on a trip last year, the start of last year, and came and visited a whole bunch of schools through the south, and Ole Miss was one of them, and I really liked it here, and based on the footage that I'd provided them, they were excited to take me here, so that's how I ended up here.
What did you like about Ole Miss?
I think Ole Miss appealed to me. Firstly, Oxford was amazing. Like on the trip that I went on, I visited probably 10 schools. Oxford was my favourite out of all of them. So that was a special part. But then I had got advice from the program I was with in Australia that the coaches here were really good for my position. There's been Australians previously who've played here. The previous punter, Fraser Mason, he was Australian as well. So there were just a few connections already, and they were excited, and I loved the place, so it was an easy match.
How big were the impact that like some of the previous guys in the team, guys like Fraser and like other people that you met around here, how big were they to helping you like adjust to this new culture and everything? And who are some of the guys in the team that you kind of had like sought out for, not even guidance, but just some camaraderie like between teammates?
Fraser was here training for Pro Day as I was adjusting in January, so he was really helpful, just football things, but also outside of it, adjusting to the culture differences and things like that. So he was really helpful from an Australian perspective. I was really lucky my snapper, Carter Short, he started at Alabama. He had an Australian punter there. He then came to Ole Miss and played with Fraser. So he's already done twice helping an Australian adjust to college football. So he knows how to do it really well. So I've been really lucky that he has helped me massively with, again, learning plays. I'm new to the game. I know how to kick, but everything else around that is learning for me. So he's been a really big part. And just the coaches, they've been really helpful and understanding that there are parts of my game that I'm really good at, but also I need to learn a lot of things. So they've been really comforting in terms of supporting me with that.
You mentioned like culture differences. I personally am very interested to hear the differences between the culture in Australia and your version of football versus not just sports culture here, but maybe even like, the culture here. So like, what are some of the biggest differences that you've noticed since coming to America?
I think sporting wise, it'd be the scale, like the professional level of sport that I didn't get to play at. It's of a similar size, but college football, like the entertainment and the scale of it, there's just nothing compared. There's just over 20 million people in Australia, and some of these games are getting 15 million views on TV. So just the scale of it, and I actually had my family here for the first time this weekend, so they saw the Ole Miss LSU game. That was their first ever experience, so they loved it. And I think, just the scale of the sport is significant. I think I grew up in Sydney, Australia, which is by the ocean, and so coming here to Mississippi, you're quite a way away from the ocean, and just getting to adjust to it. Also, Sydney's a big city. Here we're in a small college country town, so that's been really nice to get to experience the authentic American college lifestyle. And from my perspective, I've only ever seen that in the movies and TV shows, so to actually live it, it honestly feels like a movie at times, getting to run out in front of big crowds and just meet people, and still adjusting to everyone here is American. Like, when I'm walking around, I don't necessarily think everyone's American, and then I talk to people and go, oh yeah, I'm in America.
Now, we talked about you a lot, as an Australian coming here, and that's a big culture difference, but as an athlete personally, I was just curious, you see, something that I love about you watching you on and off the field is you have a big presence, you have a big positive vibe to you. I love every time, I feel like you're out on the field or off the field or, through the press conferences, you're a really positive guy, and I want to talk about your mentality as an athlete. What is it that you love about, you could honestly translate it from what you liked about Australian football to American football, but your mentality, what do you love about the game?
So I think the biggest thing for me that I've learnt with sport is you need to love what you do, especially at this level. And the people who succeed, they put in lots and lots of hours to get to where they are. And a big part of that is you can't do that unless you really enjoy what you're doing. So for me, I love kicking a ball, and that's what I've done since I was a little kid. And I get to come here every day and work on getting better at that. And so it's really not hard for me to come in here every day and really enjoy what I'm doing and be grateful for the opportunity. There's lots and lots of people out there who would love to be doing what we get to do. So just having that approach, and everyone around here loves the team and loves to get involved, and it's just, if you're doing all these hours, you may as well enjoy what you're doing. So yeah, I think that's a big part of my mentality and that also makes it easier on you, going out there and having fun. It helps you avoid tensing up and allows you to play freely. And my position is very mental. Punter and kicker, we don't have many opportunities in a game. We need to try and make it count when we can. And yeah, just being relaxed and having fun and not worrying too much about the result and just focusing on the process. And if you can enjoy that process, it makes it a lot easier.
I want to talk about the result because I think it's so fun that your family was able to be here for the LSU game because you put on a really good performance, right? I want to talk about how you feel about winning that accolade. Was it SEC Freshman of the Week? Or yeah. Okay, that is so, congratulations. What does that mean to you, and what does it mean that your family was there? Like, I would love if we could hear you reflect on that awesome award.
Firstly, my family being here is just nice. I spotted them pre-game, and so being able to see that they were there enjoying that experience, and I think my mum was waving to me way too many times. I didn't keep waving back, but I think the award itself, it's nice to get recognition always for the work you've put in, but the job I do, there's so many people that go into making that operation work well. So it's nice that I got that accolade, but there's so much work the snapper Carter Short has put in. There's guys all around blocking me that they put in a lot of hours to make sure that I can actually kick the ball instead of it getting blocked, or the coaches. So yeah, it's nice to be recognised by the SEC, but there's a lot of people that should be deserving of the same award and recognition for it.
And yeah, you talk about that recognition, and it's fantastic because special teams is a lot of the times like kind of the unsung hero part of the game, and I think that's great that you were able to get recognized. But also, I want to talk about, that LSU game was fantastic. It was a big win, put you guys really high up there in the rankings compared to the previous weeks. So now we have a bye week right now. You kind of have a lot of downtime. What is the team's kind of mentality and your kind of mentality going forward? We talked a little bit about it off camera, but what are you looking forward to in the weeks to come, and how are you going to stay kind of just locked in and prepared for this upcoming challenge?
So I think in terms of preparing for games as a specialist and a punter, I really don't. We try not to change from week to week. If you're coming into a lower ranked team and then into a high ranked team, if you're changing your process, and that can sort of set you up for failure. You just want to prepare as similar each week as you possibly can. Keep everything the same, and the team does a great job of that. When we're at home, we stay in the same hotel and have very similar routines. And that just helps us to focus on the job. And in terms of punting, I really try almost separate myself from the game itself. I'm just very focused on, I punt the ball, I also hold the ball on field goals. So just really focused on those two jobs. And to be honest, it feels in games sometimes really don't notice the crowd or the other team. Like I'm going to be punting a ball in week 1 and I'm going to be punting a ball in week 10. The opposition changes, but the goal is the same each week. So just, really having a focus on my job and not worrying about who else or what the distractions are going around.
You mentioned your goals. I would love to know what your goals are, maybe for yourself, maybe for the team, maybe this year going forward.
I don't want to sound too cliche, but I'm very focused on just trying to get better and focusing on myself. And I know that I feel like I have great skill and great ability, but there's so much I can improve on. And so that's every chance I get to come in here and improve and work on something, and even winning an accolade on the weekend, but going through the review of my game, there are so many areas that I think I can improve on. And so there's, in a bye week, it could be an opportunity to slack off and take it easy, but we come in and we go, okay, how do I get better? Where are the opportunities to improve? So I think that's what I'm focused on. There's so much noise that goes on around college football, and there's obviously the next level as well down the road, but it's just, for me, it's coming in. identifying areas that I want to improve on in terms of, as a punter, it's hang time, it's distance, it's placement, it's being able to be really consistent in my job, being able to be a good teammate, helping the kicker on his field goals get better. So it's honestly just constantly improving in my game and seeing where I can get better. That's the main goal. No, I'd love to. As I said, I love professional sport and I love kicking the ball, and so yeah, I would definitely take the opportunity to try and make it to that next level. And I think it can be distracting if you're focusing on that while you're here. And I have a few years here, so I think it's easy to get caught up in wanting to get further than where you are. So being present and just working on getting better eventually will lead to opportunities to have a go at that next level when that time comes.
You kind of talked about the culture in Oxford, how, you know, the amount of people that come to these games in college football, it's such a big stage. And with a big stage comes a big platform for you. And, you know, if it's kind of a new scene for you as opposed to what it was like back in Australia, I want to talk to you about what kind of advice would you give to, like, you know, some of the people watching, you guys out there as a team, as a unit, you know, what would you use your platform to say? What is your, like, some of your best advice that you realized, not just as an athlete, but as a person?
I think the biggest thing I would say is the support doesn't go unrecognised. There's so many people who are passionate about the team, and whether it's people who write letters into players or getting to be in the bus on the way to the games, getting to see kids with their parents waving at the buses, like we see that and we appreciate that. And when the crowd turns up and supports, we notice it, and it's really can make a difference. And just knowing that there's so many people who are passionate about the team and each player, that I think it really gives us something to work towards. You know, people work all week to get their tickets or season tickets, you know, and that makes us want to work harder for them. And knowing that the team is so much bigger than ourselves, that there's, you know, people before us and people after us that will be so passionate about Ole Miss football, that it's just a special place to be.
I know we're trying to go 1-0 every game, so I don't need you to look forward into the season if that's not where your brain is supposed to be. But we've seen so much great stuff out of the offense and defense and out of head coach Kiffin. So is it different this year? Is the feeling in the clubhouse different? Like, how do the guys feel?
I'd love to be able to give you a good answer, but this is my first year here, so I don't know what a winning team looks like and what success looks like. I know what we are now, and I know that the players and the coaches, there's great chemistry between us all, and I think everyone turns up here with a great attitude to work and to get better. And Coach Kiffin's message of going 1-0 and really being focused each week, I think the players have really bought into that, and I think there's definitely the opportunity to have a really good year, and I think we're just focused on each week, and I think that's what the best teams do. Even from sport in Australia, you recognise that if you get too far ahead of yourself or you listen to all the outside noise, that's when you can get caught up. And I think the team's learnt from previous experiences as well on how to make sure that you're focused and not take any team for granted. And yeah, who knows what can happen.
We want to wish you best of luck in the bye week and your next game against Washington State. Go 1-0, and then anything in the future, whether it be this year at Ole Miss or any of your other professional aspirations, we think that you are a really exciting member of our team, and we're so glad that you came here from across the pond.
Definitely. Yeah.
It was so good to meet you.
Yes, you too.